If love starts with an agenda, can the feelings that follow ever be real? Turns out the purest kind of love isn't perfect from the start, but what's left after all the schemes fall apart.
당신이 뭐라든 어떻게 생각하든 사랑한다고.
Today we're breaking down the Korean healing romance masterpiece, Love 911, easily one of the most realistic adult love stories I've ever seen. A female doctor suspended for malpractice deliberately gets close to the firefighter who could save her career. She thought it was just a transaction, but in this carefully planned pursuit, she's the one who falls first. So buckle up as we dive deep into this absolute tearjerker. Our heroine Mi-soo is a gifted surgeon with top-tier skills and stunning looks, but that success bred a deep-seated arrogance and prejudice. One day, an emergency patient gets rushed into the ER. Mi-soo glances at the patient's injuries, spots a tattoo on the family member's arm, and instantly assumes domestic violence. That snap judgment makes her completely miss the actual medical issue, and without even running basic tests, she forces them out of the hospital. But she has no idea that this blind confidence is about to drag her life into an abyss. Shortly after discharge, the patient collapses on the way home from an undetected brain bleed and passes away despite resuscitation efforts. The devastated husband can't accept it and storms into the hospital like a madman, unleashing all his rage and despair on the medical staff. Firefighter Kang-il happens to be passing by after a rescue mission, and out of duty, he steps in to intervene, only to get his head smashed open by the unhinged man. This severe medical incident brings devastating consequences for Mi-soo, resulting in a 3-year suspension from the hospital.
오진의 보호자 의견 묵살에 강제 퇴원해. 자칫 환자의 상태가 악화되기라도 하면 면허를 잃을 수도 있다고.
With nowhere else to turn, Mi-soo consults a lawyer who offers one slim lifeline: find the injured firefighter Kang-il and get him to testify that the victim's husband had violent tendencies, which is the only way to win the case. And just like that, the gears of fate begin turning in the most unexpected way. Mi-soo approaches Kang-il with her own hidden agenda, wielding the same confidence and charm that always works at the hospital, trying to trade an unspoken deal for his help. But she underestimates Kang-il's perception, and he sees right through the selfish calculation hiding in her eyes. He doesn't even bother wasting words and flat out refuses her.
그 사람들한테 덤탱이 씌우기만 해, 어? 내 가만 안 둬.
Rejected and defeated, Mi-soo sinks into a level of despair she's never known before. Right then, a joking comment from a friend hits her like a bolt of lightning. If you can't get his help, get his heart. As absurd as it sounds, this wild idea becomes the only lifeline Mi-soo can see. She makes up her mind right there. She's going to make Kang-il fall in love with her. She pulls his duty roster and times her arrival perfectly at his next call site. Watching Kang-il crouch on the ground chasing runaway chicks, she strolls over like she just happened to be passing by and boldly asks him out.
나랑 연애 안 할래?
When her first attempt flops, Mi-soo doesn't back down. She pivots to something way more extreme and fakes jumping into a river. She figures this will force Kang-il to actually talk to her, but things go south fast. Just as she poses for the act, her foot slips, and she actually tumbles off the bridge. Luckily, Kang-il has quick reflexes and grabs her just in time. But hanging upside down from the railing, the wind blows Mi-soo's skirt up, making the scene painfully awkward. In the end, this ridiculous farce wraps up with Kang-il personally dropping Mi-soo off at the police station. These back-to-back failures don't scare Mi-soo off, they just ignite her competitive streak. So she makes an even bolder move and signs up as a volunteer medic at the fire station. She plans to infiltrate Kang-il's daily life up close, convinced she can finally crack this stubborn guy. Soon enough, a gorgeous doctor in a fitted uniform walks right into this hyper-masculine firehouse. But Kang-il greets her arrival with pure disdain, refusing to give her even a single glance. No matter how much Mi-soo flatters him or tries to make conversation, he ignores it all, treating every attempt like thin air. But fate always has a way of surprising you. Some ice won't melt from heat alone, but cracks appear when you least expect them. At a team dinner, Kang-il, who can't handle his liquor, gets completely wasted. He clings to a random chair in the restaurant, refusing to let go while muttering something over and over. That's when Mi-soo learns the chair looks exactly like the one his late wife loved most. An accident 3 years ago took his wife's life. He's saved hundreds of strangers but couldn't save the one person he loved most. That guilt and regret have tortured him for 3 long years, turning him into the cold, isolated man he is now. Sometimes the heaviest chains we wear are the ones we forge ourselves. Later, Mi-soo finds a locket in Kang-il's car, containing a photo of his late wife. In that moment, a wave of complicated emotions hits her, and all her efforts suddenly feel like a cruel joke. But then she realizes that a man who holds on to his late wife for 3 years must carry so much love and so much loneliness. Trying to build common ground, Mi-soo lies and says her mother passed away when she was 8. But the second the words leave her mouth, her phone rings.
엄마.
She panics instantly and tries to backtrack.
새엄마.
Just as things get heated between them, an unexpected accident binds them together once again. A massive refrigerant leak hits a large cold storage facility, and the fire team rushes to the scene. After wrapping up the mission, everyone gathers to head out. When Kang-il gets back to the truck, he notices the passenger seat is empty. He realizes instantly that Mi-soo is still trapped inside the facility. Without a second thought, he spins around and sprints back into the danger zone. Deep inside the freezer, Kang-il finds Mi-soo passed out on the floor from low blood sugar. But just as he scoops her up to leave, disaster strikes. The power kicks back on, and the heavy metal door locks automatically, trapping them in a rapidly freezing steel tomb. Before long, biting cold surges in from every direction. Their phones have zero signal, and they're completely cut off from the outside world. When Mi-soo wakes up, she briefly thinks this isolation feels kind of romantic, but reality shatters that illusion fast. As the temperature plummets, they stomp their feet and rub their hands just to stay warm, but their energy keeps draining away. As Mi-soo's consciousness starts to fade, she weakly asks the question that's been burning inside her.
나 좋아하지?
Seeing Mi-soo on the verge of passing out, Kang-il knows that in this extreme cold, falling asleep could mean never waking up. So without hesitation, he strips off his turnout gear and jacket, using his own body heat to keep her alive. In this frozen, isolated world, stripped of schemes and masks, their hearts finally connect for the very first time. Thankfully, their teammates realize they're missing and bust open the freezer door to pull them out. That brush with death completely melts the ice around Kang-il's heart. His attitude toward Mi-soo does a total 180. He starts asking her out, taking her to watch sunsets by the sea and opening up about his inner world. At their usual diner, Kang-il, slightly buzzed, finally tells Mi-soo the full story of him and his late wife. When the emotions hit too hard, he breaks down and sobs uncontrollably. The tough guy who fears nothing in a blazing inferno looks as fragile as a child right now, and Mi-soo just sits quietly beside him, listening. She finally understands that all his coldness and rejection came from a wound that never healed. In that moment, beyond her initial scheme and growing affection, her heart fills with endless compassion. She walks the drunken Kang-il home, and seeing his brow still furrowed in sleep, she gently leans against him and pats his shoulder, hoping to soothe the pain etched deep in his soul. As the first rays of morning sun fill the room, their reconnected hearts can no longer fight the overwhelming tide of love. They embrace and kiss, feeling like they've finally survived all the hardship and reached the prologue of happiness. Right then, Kang-il's friend drops by unexpectedly. He instinctively shoves Mi-soo into the bedroom to hide her, and that single move sends a chill straight through Mi-soo's heart. What hurts even more is that Kang-il's home is filled with photos and mementos of his late wife everywhere she looks. Suddenly she feels like an intruder, a secret replacement living in the shadows. It turns out that feeling loved but stuck in someone else's shadow hurts way worse than not being loved at all. Heartbroken and resentful, Mi-soo leaves without a word, and their relationship hits another wall. Just as Mi-soo walks away in sorrow, bad news arrives from the hospital. The patient she misdiagnosed has officially passed away. Strangely though, the patient's husband suddenly drops all charges. A deep sense of dread rises in Mi-soo's chest. She rushes to the hospital and finds the ward door locked from the inside. Without thinking, she grabs a fire extinguisher and smashes the lock open. The sight before her freezes her blood. The man has hanged himself right beside his wife's hospital bed. Even though he has no pulse and everyone else has given up, Mi-soo fights like crazy to bring him back. She refuses to accept that her mistake indirectly cost 2 people their lives. Through her relentless efforts, a miracle actually happens, and the man regains a faint heartbeat. In that moment, she didn't just save a life, she redeemed her own guilt-ridden soul. But just when things settle, another storm rolls in. During a railway rescue, Kang-il risks everything yet again to save a severely injured woman trapped in a vehicle. Seconds before the train roars past, he pushes the car off the tracks with all his might, but with no room to escape, he barely avoids getting hit himself. Though he survives against the odds, the rescue fails, and the woman doesn't make it. That failure drags Kang-il right back to the agonizing memories of losing his wife.
그럼 끝내. 그만 힘들어하고.
Those words hit like ice water, snuffing out the spark of love they'd just ignited. Mi-soo puts on a brave face and agrees to the breakup. If love means hurting each other, maybe it's better to just walk away. They both act strong in front of each other, only to fall apart the second they turn their backs. Kang-il, who never drinks, gets blackout drunk, and Mi-soo loses her usual spark, curling up in her best friend's arms to heal. Eventually, she submits her resignation, deciding to leave the fire station and start fresh. But before she goes, she wants to give this relationship a proper ending. They step into a quiet church, and in that sacred space, Mi-soo asks Kang-il to turn around. Summoning every ounce of courage, she pours out all the love she's kept buried in her heart.
당신이 뭐라든 어떻게 생각하든
사랑한다고.
But Kang-il stays facing away, never turning back, never saying a word. In the adult world, silence is your answer. Mi-soo knows he still hasn't let go of the past. With that said, she turns and walks away, leaving Kang-il standing alone in the empty church, swallowed by endless regret. But fate refuses to give them a moment to breathe. The second Kang-il gets back to the station, an emergency call comes in. A building under construction has collapsed, pinning a worker under a concrete pillar in critical condition. The rescue team arrives to find the pillar fused to a load-bearing wall, and lifting it carelessly could trigger a secondary collapse. Heavy rain pours outside, washing away at the unstable walls, and the risk of collapse grows with every passing second. With no other options, the captain painfully orders a full evacuation. But staring into the trapped worker's desperate eyes and hearing him say goodbye to his wife on the phone, Kang-il finds his feet glued to the ground. While everyone else pulls out, he makes a reckless decision. He shoves his teammates out and stays behind alone. In the hollow ruins, it's just him and the trapped worker. In this life or death moment, Kang-il doesn't picture death. He sees Mi-soo's face and hears her tearful plea echoing in his mind. It hits him like a ton of bricks. He's already fallen deeply in love with that girl. Thinking back on how he hurt her, guilt floods his heart. He vows silently that if he makes it out alive, he'll never take that love for granted again. He activates the high-pressure airbags, slowly lifting the pillar, but just as he drags the victim free, the secondary collapse hits. Kang-il hauls the man toward the exit with everything he has, but he's a split second too slow, and the crumbling building buries them both instantly. Meanwhile, as Mi-soo drives away, she hears over the radio that firefighter Kang-il has been buried. Her heart leaps into her throat. Ignoring the gridlocked traffic, she floors it, praying 1,000 times over that he'll be okay. On the other side, his teammates finally locate them in the rubble. Miraculously, they're both still breathing. In the ambulance heading to the hospital, Kang-il wakes up and immediately struggles to get out, refusing to stay put. Love is never a solo performance. It's two people running toward each other. When one person fights death just to see you again, and the other races toward them without hesitation, all misunderstandings and barriers simply vanish. In the middle of a crowded intersection, they finally lock eyes. Time seems to stop, and the entire world fades until only they remain. By the end, the two reconcile and continue serving side by side at the fire station. They still bicker now and then, but it's nothing but sweet. People often say adult love is filled with trade-offs and cold calculation. But Love 911 proves that genuine feelings don't care about timing. Mi-soo approached Kang-il with an agenda, but caught real feelings along the way. Kang-il clung to the chains of his past, but finally saw his own heart clearly when death stared him down. Life had battered them both, one hiding fragility behind pride, the other wrapping deep love in icy detachment. Only when they found each other did they realize that the best love isn't two perfect people meeting, but two scarred souls willing to be each other's bandage, healing and warming one another. Sometimes love takes luck, but it always takes courage. May we all find that person in this long journey of life who's willing to be your love 911 and who you'd gladly heal in return.